gentlemen. This is my presentation on critical race theory. Um, so, for broad definition, or generally what it is, um, it's like the theoretical lens that scholars look, analyze race and power within documents of literature because they believe that through literature is um, basically the lens to society's beliefs, and by examining these, we can look at any um, unequal power balances, dynamics between um, white people and minorities and that sort of thing. So the overall goal is basically to just um, lead us to a more equal society that does not have as many prejudices and racial issues, essentially. Um, I'd say it's broken down. Critical race theory is essentially broken down into five key terms, um, which is white privilege, microaggressions, institutionalized racism, social construction, and intersectionality. Um, white privilege, obviously, being that um, because the foundation of our country being built on the backs of slavery, that white people have more power, whether it be economically, socially, in jobs, any really institution of power that controls people's lives. Um, that white people have an advantage because we were the ones that wrote the law and um, therefore have privilege over the non-white counterparts. Microaggressions are essentially um, unconscious forms of racism, being that whether it be just like um, it's basically small comments here and there um, that people don't identify as racist beliefs, which is basically stemming from uh, racist ideologies that have been passed down from generation to generation. Um, institutionalized racism, um, that's basically the continued subjugation of um, non-white people, minorities, um, through power dynamics in society, like the school system, the law, things like that. Um, the social construction is essentially that critical race theorists believe that race was um, wait, race is created through the social interactions between different people of different ethnicities. It's not necessarily um, that there's anything biologically different between whites and non-whites. It's that race is a construct within the mind to justify power dynamics, and to subjugate non-white members of society to a lesser standard of living. And then intersectionality is basically the belief that um, that one person isn't going to make their decision based off of their identity with their race or their religion or something. It's that a person is defined as someone where all their like basically the intersection of their beliefs, their groups, and um, of what they identify with and their allegiances and that sort of thing. An application of critical race theory, for example, would be um, the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Because um, Huckleberry Finn eventually, at the beginning of the book, um, identifies Jim as a slave and looks down upon him, even though there's a large age gap between the two, because Jim is African American and a slave of his quote unquote mother, I guess, or adopted mother, that he's of lesser value. And but as they run away together and try to escape police and that sort of thing, um, then there's Hux eventually starts coming around to see Jim as an equal, which is all well and good, but as the sentiment is there to think that, oh, he's starting to see him as an equal person, but there's still he still sees himself as an equal despite the power dynamic, which a child would normally not consider. So this would be like, you could argue that Huckleberry Finn still holds preconceptions, stereotypes of racial prejudice, and that sort of thing. Um, so that's about it.